Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 3 of my Katanagatari reaction series, back here again today for some more Katanagatari. We're seemingly settling into our episodic structure, 12 episodes, 12 swords, 12 months, 12 money were called guys, and we're going to do another one here today. I've heard this episode's quite good. On somebody said it on Discord, I think. So I'm looking forward to that here today. Got the YouTube comments up here. Feeling a bit better too. I've been a little bit unwell over the past little bit, but yeah, feeling well enough to record, but again, don't be surprised if the energy is kind of down. First comment here today by Hot Wheels Kid. I'll try to keep all the word stuff in the same comment this time, starting with the sword name, Zanto Namakura. You pretty much nailed it. The first character, Zan, means to slice or lop off, with some heavy decapitation vibes, and the last one, Namakura, means blunt or dull-witted. The official translation has it as Zanto the Razor, but Blunt the Decapitator is probably a little closer. That's the one I saw on Wikipedia, I believe. Which, we can always trust Wikipedia. Next is Shichika's new catchphrase. The torn to pieces bit, which is Yatsuzaki, uses the same characters as Hachiritsu from Shichika Hatsuritsu. So okay, it's got a little bit more Japanese pun meaning to it because Nishio Sin. Also, I guess I'll just do Kochen's comment now because it's very funny. They did in fact say the catchphrase, that being Shichika. He definitely said it. I just continued to miss it every single time. So I don't know how I missed it twice, but he said it. That's kind of the closed loop on the whole catchphrase thing. Because I remember asking the question during the analysis portion, like, hey, did he actually say the thing? And turns out, yes, he did. That being said, without this bit of context, the catchphrase itself is kind of fucking terrible. And I see it as kind of just, like, again, Shichika's just kind of appeasing Togame by picking a catchphrase. And again, we'll talk about the meta meaning to that here in a second as well. Next is Ginkaku's draw attack move Zerosen, which means Zero Flash. It's supposed to represent a sword draw so fast that it doesn't even catch the light before it's back in its sheath. That's why he's always talking about how the sword is faster than light. It's also a homophone for Zerosen, a famous Japanese fighter plane from World War II. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I remember a lot of stuff about it being faster than light. Next is the castle Gekokujo, harsh underneath castle, which is a homophone for Gekokujo, which means a retainer who supplants his lord, which I believe is one of the meanings that I found, like a deserter, is kind of the vibe that I got there from last week. But again, that was last week. I forget things. Last one here, Maniwa True Garden, keeping with our kind of vegetation theme, I guess. The ninjas are all animal-based. So far we have the sword-swallowing guy Komori, which means bat, and then the backwards-talking guy Shirasagi, meaning white heron. So yes, he was, in fact, in kind of a heron-esque costume, because boy in the heron. Because I recognize that now, weirdly enough, somebody dressed up like that. Thanks for that comment, and also thanks Kochen for his comment as well. Moving on to Neilu's. And this is probably my favorite comment from last week as well, because I think it justifies a lot of the content, which I thought kind of went over my head last week. I was kind of like, he's being meta. I don't really know how or why, and I think it only took one person saying it's about the show itself, and then I'm like, oh, okay, makes a whole lot more sense. And yes, very Nishio Sin, aware of genre, aware of place in the industry, blah, 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 blah. And again, this is just one interpretation, but I'm thinking it makes a lot of sense to me, and we'll keep it in mind as we continue. Well, I definitely think there's a lot of straight-up commentary about how Nishio Sin is feeling about the series and what he has written so far, especially giving himself this monthly format, like he has to get content out, and then he's thinking to himself, like, is this shit? Is this good? Like, what am I doing here? But he has to get it out. He's set this task for himself, right? So, like, I can definitely see. I'll continue to read. I think that'll give us more stuff to play off of. I rewrote it and rewrote it, but the result was the same. I just couldn't make you stand out more than Komori. When I finished the final revision, no matter what, the only impression I got of you was that you were a half-naked idiot. Excellent, that's the first intelligent thing you've said. The readers will get to know you and come to understand your outlook. What will happen if the readers get so bored they stop reading? Think about what it's like for me to write about such a stagnant character. What happens if I lose my will to write halfway through? Ha ha ha, time limit thing. But then in the end, when Shichika picks a random catchphrase, she says, "It's not a choice I was expecting to really push while I was thinking it up, though that said, it's certainly a work I'm proud of." Considering the way he wrote these books, with one releasing each month, which feels to me almost like a challenge to himself to see how he will end up doing. I don't know the exact details, but that's what it feels like to me. I agree. I definitely get the impression what's happening here is that he's just kind of writing down some of the things he's thinking about the series so far and where he wants to take it, or where he wants to maybe take it in the future. Some things may be more jokingly or minor, some things not. And it's very wholesome that we end with the statement that at the end of the day, it's a work that he is proud of. That last one is probably not only a nod to how proud of what he's written so far, but also how he'll often just go with the flow and write whatever comes into his head. Yeah, this makes a lot of content in episode 2 shine a lot more. I really wish I came to this conclusion myself. Like, again, he's really struggling with this main character, right? So he's written him a certain way in the first. I'm guessing each episode's a different, like, mini novel or something to that effect, right? So he's written him one way in this, and he's like, shit, I got a month. What am I going to do now? How am I going to make him stand out? I'm very aware of a lot of historical samurai-esque fiction in this vein, especially in, anime, manga, light novels, that kind of sphere. Like, how am I going to make this stand out to the point where it seems like a work of my own, while simultaneously, like, still fitting within genre, not feeling weird? He kind of landed on a catchphrase, and then the catchphrase, it's what the hell, what kind of catchphrase do I give him? What character design traits can I give him? Like, how can I change his costuming? Do I give him a thing about sniffing hair? Like, what am I doing here? Yeah, I love this comment, is what I'm trying to get across. Next comment here from Creator. The bird ninja guy reminds me of one character from Haikyuu. Very random. Very random indeed, considering I haven't seen Haikyuu. That's the one about volleyball, if I'm not mistaken. But sure, I'll go with you on it. And then just Stephanie, last comment here. Cheerio, which I think I'm going to keep going. I like the Cheerio. I'm a Cheerio fan, not just the cereal, the word as well. So we're going to continue with that. I like Cheerio. And again, what I was talking about with catchphrases can also probably apply to the Cheerio thing for Togami as well. I need to give her something kind of cutesy because that's how this fits into this genre and blah, blah, blah. Very fascinating. I love it. Now, weirdly enough, I feel like there can be some stuff that we can recap. Like, I mean, we beat the guy and we got the sword. Got 2 swords now. We're seemingly doing one of these a month. So, like, another month's going to pass and we're going to see some stuff. I never really got a grasp of what season we're in or what we're moving into. So maybe it's going to be really hot. Maybe it's going to be really cold. I never really took a great deal of notice of that. I guess from a Shichika Togame angle, they're seemingly getting closer. I like their banter. I commented multiple times last week that I think they're already acting like a couple, which I enjoy. And of course, we have our main obvious plot threads, right? We need to get the swords. What's Togame planning? How cognizant is Shichika of that? Does he care? Is Togame going to fall for him? Is she not? What's going to be the overall vibe there? There's a mismatch here, and it needs to be resolved at some point. Anyway, so I think we should just move on to the episode proper, and I should stop navel-gazing about the show and get into some actual content. But not without my show stuff. So if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, Discord. And yes, we're jumping into episode 3 of Katanagatari right now. Rightio, I have up a very dark episode 3 of Katanagatari up there ready to go. 49 minutes and 50 seconds on this one, so please sync up accordingly. As always, there'll be a picture-in-picture in the description below, as well as the GSK Kun subs. And yeah, we're just going to jump right in and give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. I'm definitely recording. Good. Izumo. Sure, whatever you say. Crank that too. 3 months, 3 episodes. Hello, person. Autonomous. Okay, religious theme. Sento Tsurugi. Is that the sword? Yes. And then opening. Okay. Not much to talk about there. Just kind of this religious setting, autonomous, self-governing. So again, like we can't really play the I'm part of the like shogunate card that we play sometimes from Togame. Sento Tsurugi, I believe as well. Okay. Whatever you say, Katanagatari. Yeah, I wonder if we're going to run into another Maniwa guy. You would think so, right? That's seemingly the vibe. This song almost gives me like earlier than when the show came out vibes. Like mid to early 2000s anime. More than the 2010 I believe it came out in. It does kind of rip though. I like this song. Sento Tsurugi. Sure. Ah, the famous. Yeah, I hate walking on sand. I agree. I'd much rather stairs. Yeah, what's the go with these people? Thoughts? Hmm. You are very small, so it is everything's just bigger for you, which is fair enough. Yeah. It's not disgraceful, it's romantic. You already sniff hair. We love a good Cheerio. Why not? Nisuous in incest moment? Anyway. It's just a fireman carry. I don't know what you want. If anything, this is way more romantic. Oh, Sen, of course. Okay, how does that work? Cheerio! Say the word. It's a long way. Don't fall. Strong ankles. Mummy? Indeed. Mace is the person we're talking about, right? I love your eyes. Like insect eyes. Mace. Gotcha. Okay. A turn towards religion. Interesting. It's hard to miss them. You sure that isn't 1,000 of them? Oh. 1,000, huh? How privately? Uh, okay. Go play outside. Oh, they're cool. Okay. Doesn't bode well. She has a real thing about her age, huh? And wanting to be perceived as older. Uh, we drinking on the job? Seemingly so. Whatever you say. Sure. I still don't know if I would. Straight from the bottle? Okay. Sword. Mm-hmm. From way back in the day. Indeed, we know. That's not correct. You're lying. But I mean, of course you're lying. Mmm. Indeed. What are these circumstances? Hmm. Hmm. Are you playing outside? It's kind of resting. Okay. Thanks for talking. Some of them don't show their face, but some do. Yeah, you too. Ooh. Okay, I like that bit of dialogue. He is the sword. Well, yeah, surely you would know about that, right? And now you know. Yeah. Exciting. The 1000 sword technique. Are we going to be doing like a duel or something? I could go for a duel. I like that. I don't know how we spin that off into 40 minutes of content, though. Interesting. Or like a scavenger hunt. Huh. Gotcha. So then now there's 2 steps. Now I see how we get content out of that. Okay. I guess on a base level, yeah. There's a thing about like body contact here too. Yeah, see, she's hating it. Yeah. Great. Okay. Good. Interesting. Musubi. You seemingly know a lot. Misai. Another number thing as well with 1000, right? And then, you know, all the other number stuff too. Okay. A little bit. He hates it. He's a hater. That's like lesson number 1. Miko Moe? What are you talking about? I know Miku Moe, that's something else. Okay. Well, until you have to beat the lady. He's in prison. See, the shot was dictating he was in prison. Yep. 2 swords. I like that seemingly Togame is getting a pretty big role here. What is this sequence? I was gonna say it felt like Hakuhei, right? Yeah. So we get one of these each episode, maybe? Sabi Hakuhei, right? I think that's it. Again, and it's all about contrast, right? It's very bright. Oh, that line. See, he said his catchphrase. So, okay, we're going to do that every time, too. Like, I mean, saving damsel in distress, the notable damsel in distress going out on her own and leaving Shichika to do his thing. Contrast. They're cooking. What the fuck? Thank you, Meisai, I would believe. Or she's fucking dead. No, Togame, no. Ugh. Yeah, she did do it. She fucking tweaked out. You wouldn't dare. Bro, she tweaked. Thanks, Mom. I'm gonna say it every time. Pokemon Gym Leader. Like, every time. Like, fighting type Gym Leader right there. And she's cool, too. Another dream? Oh, another Maniwa. Okay. Who are you, sir? What are you, Hyoka? I'm very curious. That was a cool shot, too. Give me name, please. Okay. Kuizame? Okay. He seems pretty evil. Well, look at the blood in the water. Need some fucking sharks. It'll look sick. Okay. Murderous man is descending upon the shrine. That's no good. Or ascending, I should say. Oh, look, he's cool. He's helping. That seems like Homer Simpson vibes. Look, he's just helping. He's nice. See? Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Something's up there. Did Togame not figure it out? Oh no, she's still going. Oh, hello. No, I don't drink. Yeah, I mean, it feels like they've all been exiled for different reasons. Something that's soothing, right? Men specifically. Shit. Yeah, okay. That's not great. Yeah. And then we have Murder Guy coming, which is no good. Hmm. Poison and Cure? Oh my god. I feel like they do. They're pretty strong. Yeah, using a sword to heal. Think about it. Exactly. It seems to be working. Hmm. This is like Nisio Sin Bingo. I'll talk about it later. Yeah, and we're gonna have to steal that away. Who's the villain? Maybe. Okay. Yeah, he's too stupid. It would have worked on me. I don't want us to win now. It's a bit strong. I don't think I've ever had alcohol. Yeah. You're not much fun. Mm. Deferring. Don't you have any moral compass? Hmm. Yeah, couple. Probably. Yeah, from when I was a bandit. Okay, that's very specific. Okay. But you've killed way more than that. Probably, the use of probably here is very funny. Elaborate. Why? Why did that happen? Oh, and then here's the guy. Okay. Weird. Why'd you kill your dad? And what do you mean by that? I agree. It's also very fourth wall. This guy's some kind of freak. He needs to be put in prison. Yeah, Kuzame. Gotcha. We love a money one. Can I get the guy that speaks backwards back? This guy's way more annoying. Okay. He's got an Uchi katana or something? Yeah. I'm gonna help. Okay. Hello, you freak. Oh, There she goes. She's pretty quick. Noble. Teleports behind you. Don't care. Oh. Did we kill him? Is he dead? Is he done? Okay, we got him. Okay, now I understand his plot utility. Meisai's now seems stronger. That's the point. Loves a tantrum too. Okay. Oh. So you don't know? Okay. Let's fight. Loves a drink. Alright, this is progressed pretty well. You similarly though, because I don't want to kill you. It's a curse. Alright, let's see some fighting. Okay. Cloud cover. Ominous. Darkness falling. Quietly confident. Okay, bye. Chase her down. Murder. No, Togame is slow. You can't help. Seems pretty quick. We're pretty quick too. Remember last episode? I remember. Oh. Okay. Just does a runner. Okay. We don't know where she's coming from. Well, I don't have a sword. Okay. Use of the land. How am I supposed to write my novel if... Okay. What happened there? Tell me. Gotcha. I was gonna say, however, are we the baddies? They look cool. So you're like steel sword. But how do you steal sword from swordless person? Kambaru? Time to murder. Indeed. Indeed. For some atonement. Some form of salvation. No. Okay. It's a non sequitur. Okay, good. All right, I wasn't gonna sound crazy. All right, I'll talk about this in great detail. Yeah. I'm running. Pretty. An atomic bomb hit? Just run. Just run out. Just leave. Also, I understand what he did too. Not really. Hmm. Guy in Toei law. Crazy. Anyway. This episode's incredible, by the way. Interesting. That's cool too. Hello, sword. He said the thing. I noticed this time. Do it. Murder. I think we caved a skull in, guys. I'm gonna be real. Okay, no, it's actual rain. I thought it was raining blood. Indeed. Yeah. Just when you thought he was thinking about it for a moment. That's kind of feel bad ending, huh? Mm, shit. Hmm. I don't want to think about it. Yeah, 1,000 steps. What is this beat? Catcher? Well, that's a really wacky ending to something that wasn't very happy-go-lucky. Oh, really? I don't know. I was expecting that in like episode 10. Yeah. Well, fuck me. We're the bad guys. Kinda. There's a lot of depth there, like a ton. I want to discuss the stuff in great detail. Um, Specifically, there's one part which I think takes a lot from Beastars, weirdly enough, which I'll talk about. Um, yeah, I mean that was the best episode so far. Just the most sympathetic character so far as well. Like it's kind of like the guy from last week. He has a name, Ginkoku, something like that. It's like him on steroids, right? Where we have this really honorable, well, faux honorable motivation, and and we're posed against it, right? And we're being forced more and more to examine ourselves and our own like moral compass in that, and the lack thereof in Chichika's case, right? He really is just a sword in the same way that the rest of the swords are just swords as well. Weapons to kill, weapons to also protect. Then there's the whole, yeah, again, the gender politics subtext to it all, which is not great. Doesn't make me feel very heroic. For sure. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this next episode, huh? He seems like he's ripping ass, though. What is it? There's a shark? What's going on? Oh, shit. Okay, next week's gonna rip, too. Yeah, next week seems like an action episode. Indeed. Thank you, Katanagatari. And yeah, a little bit of analysis on episode 3 of Katanagatari coming right up. So yeah, episode 3 in the bag. Not really a feel-good one for me, but definitely an interesting one. As I said before, probably the best episode thus far. A lot of concepts to talk about, which I'll get to in time. I've done a little bit of research on some of the terms just to see if I can see anything. So specifically, one I found that was interesting I'm looking at right now is Meisai, right? Which is obviously the name of Meisai. Camouflage or disguise is what we're saying that as, right? Again, I'm not sure if this is like literal or a pun or blah, 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 blah. But it's interesting, right? Different masks, different faces that she can put on, right? I may be not, I may be real slash fake to this shrine or to these bandits or to my own origins, depending on where I am in the story. Again, it really feels like they took the character from last week in Ginkoku or whatever his fucking name was, and turned it up to 11. Fleshed out the backstory way more. Make this person super honorable, right? But instead of framing it like a mercy killing, which I think it was last week, at least a little bit, right? Like freeing him of his purpose. This one, it's, yeah, noticeably more feel bad. taking an autonomous state, bringing them into the shogunate. Is that going to be okay? The male influence there, what's that going to be like? Not good. Not good at all. But I will continue. What else did I have here? Not much else. I couldn't really find anything on Kuizame, like that guy, so don't know what's going on there, really. One thing that I'll bring up that I thought was kind of interesting is I'm on Wikipedia right now and looking up the Monogatari series versus Katanagatari, right? So he's released Bakemonogatari, both books, right? So, again, the first five arcs of Monogatari in, yeah, Hitagi Crab, Mayui Snail, Suruga Monkey, Nadeko Snake, Tsubasa Cat, right? That'd be the first five. And then almost a year break, right? Starts in 2007 with Katanagatari and then goes that full year making Katanagatari from January through December. Like literally that full year, almost like it's a New Year's resolution or something. And then back halfway through the next year, May 8th, 2008 for Kizu. So almost took that year off Monogatari, right? Which, again, I spoke in kind of a flippant fashion that Meisai, this episode, really reminded me of a lot of the Kambaru family and Kambaru dynamics and that kind of stuff, right? So, like, more specifically, I guess you should say Gaian, right? So Gaian Toei, there's a little bit of Gaian Izuku by kind of association there, and then, of course, the Gaian child. A lot of the themes coming through here, I believe, with poison, cure, protection, role in all of this historical family stuff. Like, I feel like even character design a little bit. I feel like this is proto Gaian stuff. That's what I feel like, right? Which is kind of fascinating. I actually think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool for sure. I guess geographically, we're in Izumo now. The Izumo, it's not the prefecture. What is it? It's a city, Izumo, in the Shimane prefecture of Japan, right? And then I've got a map up here. I don't know if this is going to look great. It'll do. So last week, to my knowledge, we were in Tottori, right? And now we're in Izumo. So we're just kind of moving along, right? Fair enough. We were in Kyoto at some point, which is over this way somewhere. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there's Kyoto. I can't really read. But, yeah. So I'm just kind of following it on the map as well as we're going to, which I think is at least kind of interesting. I guess I should say the title, but the title's pretty obvious. Sento Tsurugi. Tsurugi means sword, to my knowledge. And Sento, sen meaning 1,000. Sento Tsurugi. 1,000 swords. So yeah, I guess I'm going to bring up that episode now and have another look. Again, I think the lines to follow here are following the relationship of Shichika and Togame as it relates to now what we know about the context of the shrine and what it's for, and how these things interact with each other, and how gender plays into it as well. We're going to have a look at that. Pretty obvious one. 3 months have passed on since their journey. They've collected, 2. They need 10 more. Very early on, see this character, pan to face, face covered, mask covering face, pan to sword, sword for protection, right? Soothing. Give them the poison that is also simultaneously their cure, right? Like the tool to commit violence, right? The violence and abuse that have gone with, like, fighting fire with fire almost, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, with being kind of blunt, but even in these early stages, it's being established, is my point. And now we're going after Tsuruga. Not Tsuruga with an S, but Tsuruga with a TS. Also interesting. Meisai, right? So this is Meisai. More evidence to my Tsuruga theory. But yeah, we get names and stuff very early. From memory, this is a very brief part before the opening. Yeah, straight into the opening after that. Okay. I think having a very comedic opening, also playing off gender ideas, is interesting as well. So I guess I'll just talk about it in totality, at least this section right now. Like, initial confidence to climb up the stairs from Togame, right? Needing help in the end, not wanting to be carried a certain way because it's embarrassing and blah, blah, blah. Ends up being like firemen carried up the stairs. Like the sword is helping you overcome some boundaries that you have because of your level of strength, whether that's based on gender or not, blah, 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 blah. is this anything? Maybe. Like, I think it's interesting that a lot of the, Shrine Maidens are watching along as this happens. Because again, I'm sure one interpretation could definitely be like sword equal man in this whole argument, right? And then again, the scene where Meisai stands in and protects Togame, very interesting too, leading to our final conclusion, of course. Yeah, again, because of some gender idea, it'd be embarrassing to cling to a man from behind. We can't do the piggyback thing. Can't sit on your shoulders. Has to be a fireman carry. Blah blah blah. Like all these other things. Like there's definitely getting at something here, right? The difference between male and female in this regard. A very interesting line here as well is that often, piggybacks with Nia-chan, right? So back on the island, that wouldn't be a problem. Something incest joke. But anyway, like, it's interesting insofar as I caught my sister in the trap line later on in the episode, right? Towards the end. There's something in the whole metaphor. I like meat. I'm a carnivore, right? I'm a predator. This is where I'm getting into a little bit more of my Beastars stuff, right? Like, I set a trap up around my own home, and then my sister fell to a very similar thing, and I didn't feel good about it, and stopped setting up such things. There's definitely something in that metaphor, for sure, and how he comes to the eventual conclusion to run over to where they were staying, because she wouldn't set up traps with swords around somebody like Togame, right? And again, it's never confirmed, but I'm pretty sure Meisai puts two and two together that she knows who Togame is, right? And her father's role in her own family's death and that kind of thing, right? Even still, taking on the role of this priest more and more and forgetting all that, forgetting who she used to be and really taking on this new role. Yeah, there's plenty here. People, yeah, go nuts in the comments, man. This shit fucking rocks. Again, watching her get fireman carried up the stairs, right? Maybe has some different implications for your life as opposed to theirs. And that's why they're hesitant. I was also looking, there is an Izumo shrine, which maybe this is based off of, but it definitely doesn't have 1,000 steps. There was another different shrine that I looked up 1,000 steps for. Our first look at Meisai, like scaring them initially, almost to the point where he fell down the stairs, ending the episode with them falling down the stairs. That's a little bit of nice symmetry there. So we meet Meisai and we're clued into her origins very early. You don't look like a former mountain bandit to me. My time as a bandit ended 7 years ago. I've also liked that so far a lot of the people that we've met along this journey have had some kind of tie into the war from before, the rebellion and all that kind of stuff. Again, being directly influenced by it here. I missed this part in the moment. She literally took her name from the priest that used to be here. What was her name before that? I don't know. And yeah, this new role, my old name, I've forgotten it. I've adopted this new role in totality, right? Like, that's why I do certain things that I do through this episode. I need to take on this new role. This is where we start to clue into a few things. 1,000 Shrine Maidens, 1,000 swords. Spread them around. Area's pretty protected. The swords soothe them. All these kind of things, right? Very interesting that we immediately separate Togame and Shichika. So Shichika, go outside and play by yourself, and maybe she'll be more open to me because I've tossed my sword aside. Right? I'm not going to just immediately attack her. It also helps with seeing all the other maidens as we see the reaction of the maidens later on from Shichika. We start to learn about the Shrine Maidens here. Some killed their parents, some killed their families, some wiped out their entire clan. What are the reasons for doing so? We don't discuss as of yet, but it will become apparent soon. They are devoid of inner peace, is the line as well. I'd love to... What is this? Is this an actual symbol on their masks, or... I do not know. You have quite interesting hair. And this may be where she's cluing in to your origins, Togame. Maybe. Togame tries to get straight down to business, but we're going to have a drink first. She fucking pulls the cork out of the bottle with her teeth, which is kind of metal, and then gives Togame the bottle before saying it's not poisoned, right? We'll talk about pure poison and cure and all these things as we continue, and what poison means in this regard. It's not meant to kill you, right? It's not meant to harm you. I've had a sip of such a thing. Everyone around here has had a sip of such a thing. It doesn't harm you if you can control it, right? She also comments that she handles her liquor well, which I guess you can adapt to a metaphor of handling Shichika very well as well. So Meisai guesses pretty easily that we're here for the sword, and then yeah, we're with the shogunate. We're here to maintain public peace and order, of course. You know, let's go to this autonomous group and tell them, hey, government wants your sword, and, you know, we're going to maintain order with it. I don't know, especially considering the male presence in such a thing and blah 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 blah, history of corruption. Anyway, the only sword of the set, the Shikizaki swords that are considered disposable as well. You have 1,000 Shrine Maidens armed with them, right? They're all around this place. And again, like saying almost the same thing to Meisai here that we were saying to Ginkaku last episode, right? If you give me sword, we can offer you protection from shogunate and United One government, and this point in Japanese history always escapes me. But yeah, in both of these cases so far, these people are... This isn't going to work. This isn't what they want, right? And we do need to take the swords by force. We see it here. We pan out to Shichika outside, says hello to one girl, and then she recoils and runs away. It's like, huh, did I do something wrong? Not you. Just other people that may represent similar traits to you. That's all. These two characters here are interesting because they don't get really that much to do. I thought they would have a little bit more going on. I think their best moment is observing the scene between Shichika and Togame through the screen, right? And thinking about what that may represent for a lot of the Shrine Maidens around. We'll talk to it when we get to it. Is that boy there your man? No, he is my sword. Okay, conflating the two already, right? Like I was talking about before. Boy equals sword. Swords are used to protect. Swords are also used to harm. Right? How can we trust any sword without holding a sword ourselves? You see what I'm saying? It's definitely in the text, for sure. I'm not reaching here. So now we know everything as well. Meisai, her kind of... oh shit, he's Kyotoru, right? Like, he's the 7th generation head there. I know that we were wiped out by the rebellion, right? And then that guy single-handedly took out the rebellion that took out us? He must be fucking strong. He's strong as shit. Noting that it's interesting? No, it's exciting. Fighting somebody that has no swords, that is this strong, that, you know, took out the hero of the rebellion, essentially. And then, yeah, we're immediately pairing it with Sentoru as well. And then, yeah, basically we get the conditions of what we're doing, right? So now we're going to get, like, hey, you need to find which sword's the real one, or whichever one you think is the real one, and then we'll have a one-on-one duel with our swords, and then we'll see who wins. So we're continuing on this hair touch thing as well, and then we get into the, you know, exacts of it, right? We need to find the original sword, the one that was made the earliest, blah, 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 blah. The way I understand it is you just, you know, pick one that isn't the right one, but is right enough, using the right reasons. I don't really know what the first part is about. Maybe there's more to it than I'm seeing at the moment. We'll see. Yeah, if I find this sword, then you'll have a one-on-one fight with Meisai. Then we're going to spring that out into 40 minutes of content pretty easily, right? Like, initially, when I was like, okay, we've already seen the person that we're going to beat, how we're going to, like, spread this out into 40 minutes, we ended up doing it quite easily. There was quite a lot here to get through. Again, Shichika continues to be pretty simple. If we win, we only get one sword, but if she wins, she gets two. How is that fair? Not really understanding any of the pretense about any of it. Togami also starts here by saying that she didn't want to fight this time around, but ended up having to, which she didn't want to do. Again, adding more to my "are we the baddies" idea. Togami screaming out, "Get off me," even if you say that. Would this be the disgrace thing you're talking about? Cheerio, don't dodge me. Again, silhouette, don't understand what's going on. What does this mean for you two? It's definitely not like funny joke time. Like, shit, okay. Fuck. From their perspective, Shichika's like a real asshole, huh? Meisai talking a little bit broader here as well. So they aren't just like master-servant. They're not a couple. They most likely are tied together by fate, right? They're a mix of the two, maybe, and the lines are blurring, you know? Did you see that hair? Hair doesn't get like that unless something significant happens. And remember her hair changing color and the point in which that happened, it was kind of the nexus point for the entire story, right? The starting scene. And then this line here, it seems that no matter what cruelties one suffers through, one's true self cannot simply be discarded. What is this talking to, right? Especially like reclaiming that style, that Sentoru's style by the end of it, right? An inherent desire to protect oneself, using a tool to protect oneself, whether that tool be Shichika or an actual sword. Why would she wear such bright clothing? So she doesn't forget herself. I'm guessing that Strategian is the daughter of some feudal lord. Neither a world of war nor a world of peace can soothe our pain. Again, another daughter of a feudal lord that died in some kind of warring thing, relating to Togame a little bit here. Like, again, wanting to protect her at a lot of turns, right? So protecting her against that one rogue shrine maiden, right? Also protecting, like, not setting up the swords around her place where she's staying, right? Like, we don't set the traps up around there. I see a lot of myself in Togame, right? I want to protect that old version of me, that old representation of me. Shit. There's a lot going on. Yeah, even, like, literally. Like, look at this shot here, ready? This one here, right? We're going to contrast shots, be ready. And then this one here, of Togame, also looking up at the moon. Connection between character. Demonstrated by filmic technique. Very cool. Contrasting the themes of this episode, right? Again, regarding gender, male, female, and the kind of dynamics there, with a lot of tropey boyfriend girlfriend sitcom-y stuff is interesting too. So like, oh, what do you think of my outfit? But you're supposed to say it suits you well. What do you mean? There's something there too. Like, Nisio-san isn't dumb. He isn't just putting this in for filler. There's a reason to it, even if I can't quite like ascertain what it is right now or describe it all that well. I don't know what the hell a Miko Moe is. Miko means shrine maiden. Okay, so, and then of course I know what Moe means. Interesting. Okay, cool. She didn't have that today. That cute moment as being a shrine maiden. So then we have Togame running off and going to do her part of the deal, identifying the swords. I'll wave a torch when I'm ready. You come down and we'll see. Don't wander around, right? Don't walk around, don't see the shrine maidens, blah, 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 blah. I think you know a little bit more than you're letting on to Shichika about the situation. This shot here, which I highlighted in the moment, imprisoned, trapped, unactive, right? Almost like he's being sheathed right now, like the sword. He looks at those two swords, says the poison of the sword, huh? The corruption there within. And again, remember, he doesn't wield any of the swords. He's unable to. He sucks with a sword. So he's not subject to such corruption, but also in that same way, like, he's not subject to any of the other side of the coin as well. The cure side, as opposed to that poison. He doesn't have that noble streak, much like a Sabi Hakuhei may, right? So Sabi Hakuhei, who we see in these dream-esque sequences, right? Little lady want to play with us. So again, obviously talking to the themes of the episode as well. Like, almost Shichika having these dreams of being this really noble swordsman, right? And using swords for the right reason. And protecting people with them instead of being the aggressor, like these guys are. And thinking, shit, well, Sabi Hakuhei is exactly that person. He has a cool catchphrase. Where again, he's almost, again, using our whole Monogatari thing, he's almost the water, right? Just plain water. He's neither cure nor poison at the moment, that being Shichika. He's just a tool. He just does whatever. He's just something that has a use, as opposed to being a real character that's fleshed out with much more of these things. I guess I should talk to the other major reveal of the episode, which is that Shichika killed his father. Which I'll need to see the context to make more judgments there, but that's definitely interesting too. Again, this is fascinating. This depiction here of this lady getting attacked, and then, again, Sabi Hakuhei jumping in the way and protecting her, being all cool. Again, we even say so much, he's so cool. As I've commented on multiple times now, the filter on it, the lighting, the music, it's all very classic, like traditional heroic samurai type character, right? He says his catchphrase, I'll have you fall for me, cutting them in twine before they're able to say, so cool. And again, she loves him. Thank you for protecting me against, like, literal rapist people. Thanks. But again, he's honorable. He didn't do it for any reward. He's just cool. There's something here, right? And again, we're seeing that guy next week. That's crazy to me. I felt like this guy's being, like, built up as something way bigger than that. But again, what do I know? So, now we have Togame grabbing the sword, right? Checking the sword, seeing if it's the actual sword, the original, right? And fulfilling her end of the bargain to get the sword. Grabs it, looks at the blade before being charged at by this shrine maiden, right? So we learn later that, you know, these are to soothe them, these swords, right? And I initially thought there was some kind of, like, mystic meaning to that. But no, it's more like, just carrying a piece of protection on you. But it's deeper than that. It's more emotional than that. It's, like, again, men and swords being conflated. I have this thing within my possession, right, that I am able to use to protect myself. You are taking that away from me almost. You're holding the sword. You may take this one. I'm going to take offense to that and attack, be the aggressor, right? We also shouldn't like forget their past in this, right? They say that they're all criminals, but they may be criminals of self-defense. Again, wiped out my whole clan, my whole family, that may have been male family members. We get a nice fake out here with the red appearing on the white. You may think that this is like Togame's head or something because of the hair color. But no, Meisai jumps in the way, right? Protects her at every chance, right? Again, this girl that's in a Shrine Maiden costume, forgive me, protect these girls, carrying on the initial stuff of the priest, the one that she killed, stands in the way enough for this character to remember herself, drop the sword, and then ask for forgiveness. And then brought in. This is like the priest's vibe, right? This is his role coming through. Again, there's fucking layers here. Like, this one scene where Togami thanks her, and then she looks back, and then, yeah, shit. What's going on there, right? Thanks for protecting me. Thanks for standing in the way of me dying, right? And then, again, as I talked about in the moment, the baggage of, you are literally the daughter of the man that killed my father. The man of that rebellion, right? And now, like, I'm protecting you? Again, because of this new role, this new mask that I've put on. And then, yeah, feeling a little bit guilty as Togame as well. When I find this right sword, if I find this right sword, Meisei will die. Like, I know how strong Kyotoru is, right? She will die. We're following a similar track to last week with the Maniwa guy, where this guy's kind of a fake out, and really we're after, again, the person that has the sword. I'm still waiting for the really rote storyline, which is we come there to get the sword, and then this guy comes in and he's a larger-than-life figure, and then we protect them against them, and then, you know, we get the sword as a reward, almost like a quest, right? But we don't really get any of that yet, and I doubt we will. It's very rote. But again, building up a guy with a gimmick, right? And again, the guy last week was gimmicky for a reason, because we were talking about how do we make characters stand out. This guy's just like fucking evil. He's just an evil bloke that kills people, and is used more in a power scaling sense, right? He's able to look evil and have like cool swords and blah blah blah, beat up all these people in this boat, and then, you know, we beat him very easily, us being Meisai, right? I don't understand what this is about. I should have made my appearance last month, like you should have been in the last episode. I guess you are kind of similar to Shisuragi or whatever his name was. Anyway, this evil-ass guy is going up to Sanzu's shrine, and again, so we have this sub-theme about men being bad, and then we're sending bad men up to the shrine, right? In a more straightforward story, we would protect them against this guy, and then we be called the true victor. But that's not where we're going with Kyotoru yet, right? That's not where we're going with Shuchika. Like, he has to realize his role in this is more than just a tool. So this is later in the day when Shuchika is just kind of roaming around. Again, we told him not to wander around, but he is. He grabs bundle of logs in one hand, right? Like, and again, abuse victims. They think that he's gonna like throw it at him or something, so they all run away. And then like, he's so stupid, so he doesn't take any pause at that. It just continues to help like nothing's wrong, to the point where they're eventually able to help along as well, feeling comfortable around him. As soon as they see that, you know, he helps them, he soothes them, right? Similar to the swords, then they're fine with him. Something in that, for sure. But the initial reactions are very telling. Shichika gets thanked here. This is the first time those maidens have had any contact with anyone besides myself and Meisai. Why did Meisai bring them here? No, they were serving under the previous priest. Though there may be some who heard the rumors of Meisai-sama and struggled to get here. Yeah, that she has swords that soothe the soul. If you're a Shrine Maiden here, you get a sword, and that soothes you. There's also this sub-theme of feeling the aura of the Shikizaki swords, which comes back at the very end when she gets out the actual sword. Again, there's almost some placebo-like qualities to it, maybe, I think, right? I give you the sword, you feel more confident and protected, thus you start to feel better, and you start to, you know, mend yourself, and in the way that these kind of shrines do. Meisai, upon hearing that he doesn't think that these Shikizaki swords are like any of the other Shikizaki swords, I must have a talk with him about this. And then we have this scene, which is one of the standout scenes of the episode for sure, talking to Shichika's character more than probably anything thus far. We start to get a few answers here. Why do they run away from me? Well, this temple, it's a temple of refuge, right? Some call it a shrine of separation. Like, I've separated myself from the terrible circumstances in my life surrounding men, and come to this refuge. And you're disrupting the peace almost, right? But again, you represent a sword as well, which is interesting because they're all holding swords, as I've talked about. It's interesting to look at this from Meisai's perspective as well, right? What is she trying to get out of this conversation? She's trying to appeal to Shichika's sense of justice and his sense of like a normal. She's trying to pin him down. Is he a heroic bloke? Is he a terrible bloke? Is he cure? Is he poison? And I think you stand somewhere in between. And that's why you're unable to be moved by either argument here, right? Of you to try to... Like, at the end of the day, Togami tells me what to do. You're not being swayed by a morality cause this way or that way. At the end of the day, you're a tool to be used. And are you going to progress beyond that? Are you okay with being used? Again, coming back to the first episode and the theming there, where, yeah, I know that she's lying to me, but still I don't care. I'm happy to be used here. Interesting context as well is that the previous priest was male, right? But still gave out these swords and did that whole thing, right? Like, he would be the only guy there, and he wouldn't be carrying a sword. Everybody else around him would be carrying a sword, right? All the shrine maidens. And that's a trust thing too, right? Here we get more confirmation. They're all abuse victims. Their mental health was destroyed by long-term abuse by men. But not just mentally, both their souls and bodies have been abused to their limits. Not great. And then we're going to kill the one person in charge of their, like, spot of refuge, their one spot where they feel safe. And Kyotoru is going to be the one doing it, and he's going to have almost no ethical pause in doing so. There is one moment at the end where he looks at his hand covered in blood and thinks about it before turning to Togami with a broad smile and saying, yeah, I did it. Are we the baddies? Like, come on. It's very interesting. Shit, we're getting to, like, Monogatari areas very early in this show, for sure. Yeah, the girls at home has been discarded, and this is where we pick them back up. You should understand why they fear you now. Shichika here. I don't really understand. Well, it is a different world from that of a swordsman. The world of a lady. The world of a woman, right? You should also pick up on the reason that I gave them these swords. The Shikizaki swords, right? It's the poison of them. The corruption that we talk to. That we've seen in multiple cases thus far, right? In Komori and Ginkaku, right? Again, I keep saying Ginkaku. I'm pretty sure that's his name. It is. Good. Okay. So we've seen these swords corrupting people already, right? So we're knowledgeable of that fact. Again, we're without corruption, but we're also without the good use of swords, as I've talked about before, in Shichika. This also reinforces that reaction from the Shrine Maid. She had almost a similar reaction to Ginkaku having his sword taken away as well, right? Which is like, no, you can't. You can't have that. I need to hold on to this. Some One Ring vibes to it almost. Like, freaking out when they try to take it away. Taking too much medicine becomes poisonous, and poison can be used as medicine. Isn't that a weird dichotomy between a cure and poison? The swords should serve to restore their broken minds. Of course, that only exists if these swords have supernatural power. Perhaps it is all placebo. Yeah, trying to restore life with a killing tool like Tsurugi. Bringing in the bandit subtext to it. The taking of the lives of the bandits too, right? Like, restoring life through the thing that for so much of my life I used to kill people. I took their own swords and killed them with it. Even if you take away the poison, by obtaining the strength a sword provides, a woman can become equal with men. Again, conflating men and swords, for sure. This is where we start to appeal, or try to appeal to Shichika's morality. For them, Sento Tsurugi is their heart and soul. You wouldn't take away their heart and soul, right? These abuse victims? You wouldn't do that, right? That's why I can't afford to let these swords go. I have to save as many women as possible. That's why I have to gain 2 more swords, so I could save even 2 more. That's why I can't lose to you. That's the way it should be. I will fight to my utmost, and you'll fight to your utmost. Like, clueless as fuck. Yeah, sympathy tactic failed. Didn't work. You couldn't appeal to his sense of morality there. We immediately changed to a different tactic here by Meisai as well. Give him a drink, butter him up a little bit, doesn't like sake, he's never had it before. Contrary to how you look, you're not very much fun. Because I'm a sword. My body and soul don't move for anybody but Togame. Are you okay with robbing Tsurugi, even though the hearts of these women will break once more? Good or bad, I can't help it. I'm stuck in between. Don't you have any pause about this? Don't you think about it at all? Or do you just think, maybe this is too much of a hassle? Is it just too much work for you? Again, that's the only thing he can think. Maybe it is a bit too much work. Maybe I'm just lazy over any moral compass. And then, have you killed before? You've killed 2 people, huh? You've killed 2 people for 2 deviant blades, huh? Will you kill me too? Probably. Like, a very, very weird scene for our hero, right? We flip the question back on Meisai as well. How many have you killed? At least 43, she says, right? But really too many to count. The 43 I remember are the bandits that I went back and killed. It's the number of my compatriots that I killed when I left the bandits and came to their shrine. Those are the only kills I'll never forget because they're essentially killing my old self. My old bandit self before I formed into this new name and new priest-like occupation. People may say I'm a cold-hearted barbarian, but even I need a resolution to kill, something you're prepared to throw away. It seems like you don't have that. Yeah, probably not. Like, again, just hilariously clueless. Like, you've got none of the gravitas here to a character like this. Again, like taking a big step out. Like, you've got none of the heroic samurai protagonist stuff that we have going on, as represented by Sabi Hakuhei, but you don't even have any of the anti-hero stuff either. You're just a sword. And how do I make that interesting, is the question Nishiwa-san continues to write. Yeah, we try to throw him off balance, like, from a moral sense as well, again, also fails. We can't seem to shake this guy. At the end of the day, I only fell for Togame. I will do what I need for Togame. Contrasting the idea of falling with the I'll make you fall for me fucking catchphrase as well. Anyway, we bring up a third person here that he's killed. I slew my father. I murdered my father. And then we don't have any time to stand on ceremony here because the Maniwa guy is here. An idea that we'll probably explore in greater detail later. A secret that potentially Shichika is holding dear, much like Togame has a secret. So what would have caused him to kill his father? I do not know. I continue to not know. Can I pick up any subtext from what Nanami did in the first episode as well? Not really. I'll continue to talk about it. We have the scale, right, of morality, good, middle, evil, good, Sabi Hakuhei, supposedly, right? And, like, characters like you're pretty morally okay, especially in the end, right? Even if you have a dubious past. On the other end, you have the Maniwa core, who are pretty much always greedy and evil and stuff. Let's talk about, like, swordsman and Maniwa, right? Either side. Shichika's in between. We continue to see that as represented here. In reality, this guy just exists to be, like, the most evil guy on the planet, and seem as, like, a power scaling thing. You saw how this guy murdered, like, 6 people? Well, Meisai is going to kill him in 1 strike. We've done the same thing twice here now. I wonder if we'll continue to do a similar thing. Is somebody like a Sabi Hakuhei going to kill a Maniwa guy? We're gonna have to say. Again, he's just hilariously evil. He's got, like, sharp teeth. He, like, fucking holds his eye like this, like he's some kind of anime villain, because he is. Hilariously evil. Look at the character design. Hilariously evil. This guy has, like, cursed chains as well. You could talk to the chains as, like, binding, as, like, holding somebody as, like, a prisoner. There's something in that. Somebody with a bunch of chains coming to this refuge for all these abused women and trying to take them out and take the swords for himself. There's something in that. And then, of course, dying very quickly. So Shichika goes to run in, but is eventually surpassed by Meisai. This question of what do you fight for is continued to be brought up. What do you fight for? Money. What does somebody like a Sabi Hakuhei fight for? Honor. What does Shichika fight for? We don't really know. Just Togame. I don't really see what happened there, but I'm guessing that she just grabbed one of his swords and used it, right? That's the whole technique. She doesn't carry a sword, she uses other people's swords. Again, I like this little fucking tantrum that Togame has as well, because he took too long with the torch at the stairs. A cool line there as well is that a Maniwani showed up, right? He appeared. From now on, I'll be by your side because I can't know if he'll just take you out. And yeah, we won't be here much longer because I think I've found the sword, right? The scars on the sheath of this sword in particular are the oldest. Therefore, this must be the one because it must have been produced first. So there must be something in Meisai accepting this is the correct answer even though it isn't. She wants to fight Shichika. Because she thinks she can beat him? Because she thinks that she's protecting the shrine? I don't know. I think she thinks that she's got him cornered, right? With the whole land sword thing. You're pretty easygoing with a fight for your life on the line. That's really my territory. Are you sure you're okay? Because she's quietly confident that she's going to beat you, right? Again, with this sword setup thing. Little nice line there as well. You could show me that Centauru that you're so proud of. Proud? I'm not proud of this. It's merely just a tool. Interesting. Like, interesting with her origins as well, which we'll look into here in a second. Like, I'm not proud of that side of me, as even of now. So yeah, her first technique is throw sword and then run. Which is kind of my tactic in Baldur's Gate too, which is kind of funny. Anyway, like, she's running to where she's hidden these swords. She uses the swords of the land to attack, because she can't reverse his sword. If he had a sword, then she would probably just win, right? Yeah, see? She hit a couple of swords behind here. Very cool. See, it isn't just the use of the opponent's sword, it's about making all swords on the battlefield your own. Hence, Centauru, which I'm sure is some kind of pun. If you use both these techniques together, that being the Sento Tsurugi and the Centauru together, you get Chike Koka, use of the land. This is another fight that Togame kind of just doesn't see as well, which is interesting. She isn't seeing a lot of these fights. So he's essentially stuck in the spiderweb at the moment, right? The Sento Muguri, right? Like, I'm prepared to let you live if you say you give up, but right now you don't know where I'm coming from and I can grab a sword from any direction. It's very hard to protect from. Then we get the backstory, right? So, do I believe in this technique? I used to believe in it, and then that belief got crushed a little bit. So Meisai's father and his kind of clan was the user of this technique, the Centauru, right? From a young age, she was billed as the next head, right? The next one that would take over. Again, little girl learning technique versus Togame, who may have been in a similar situation. However, in the midst of battle, it was also as though Centauru was useless. Father died, every one of his disciples died, here's this burning temple, reminds me of the first episode, and Togame. She lost everything in the rebellion, her house, her pride, her beliefs. Before I realized that I was using Centauru as a tool for murder, as opposed for protection, right? I joined a bandit gang. At the time, the gang leader, he had the Sento Tsurugi. Centauru is an art of absolute self-defense. Not for murder, but for self-defense, in which you don't arm yourself. It's founded upon the idea that swords are disposable. The Sento Tsurugi follows the similar principles, right? It was no accident that brought Tsurugi to my ownership. Before I knew it, on a throne of corpses, I'd become the bandit chief leader, right? I just fought and killed every day. Why did I fight? I didn't have the luxury of thinking about it. I first considered that question when I met Tsuruga Meisai, the priest at the time. And now we get into it a little bit. Also, interesting to note that that bandit gang she joined, all dudes, for sure all dudes. So, again, why did she kill? Well, what is the reasoning there? The self-defense, lots and lots of stuff coming through here. So I met this, Tsuruga Meisai guy, right, who was the priest. I knew about the Sanzu Shrine, Sanctuary for these weak girls. In that case, why didn't they save me, right? A victim of abuse, of male abuse, right? They took out all my other family members, left me alone. I needed to defend for myself, went to this bandit gang, took out all of them. Where is my emotional protection in all of this, right? Why didn't they save me? And that fuel, that anger, being used for what she does next. Aren't gods called gods because they help anybody? Using that rage there, after learning about this, to murder the priest guy. Forgive me, please. This is his last words, the priest. Forgive me, please, for not being able to save you. Please forgive me, please forgive those girls for not being able to save you. The girls have done no wrong. Those were his last words. So again, now, upon hearing this is your, breaking point. This is your change of heart, right? What have I been doing this entire time? Why am I getting mad at this guy who's, on his last breath, he's apologizing for not saving you, for not saving even one more, right? You've got your hands around his neck, killing him. So these girls over here, they've done nothing wrong, and you've taken out the one good thing that's going for them, right? What is your response to this? It is the first time I'd heard such words from a dying man, and I'd killed a lot of men, right? This is the first time that I heard, please forgive me for not being able to do more. It made me think, why do I fight? Why do I live? After returning to the bandit stronghold, I killed my companions. I killed all the other bandits. The 43 that I said before. This is the turning point. This is the most significant kills I've done. Afterwards, I inherited Meisai's wish, another great cut here between the lightning. So this, older, it's like her bandit clothes, right? To the shrine maiden stuff that she wears in there, right? Very, very well done. On the lightning strike, good stuff. So yeah, I saved those goals for their sake, and for my sake too. Continuing on the priest, Saruga Meisai, his whole deal. That's an amazing backstory, by the way. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And again, Shichika's still straight as an arrow, doesn't really care. So you know that your technique can't stand up to my technique. Just admit that, and admit defeat, give us the swords and go home. Deep breath, I eat the meat of animals. I am a carnivore, I am a predator. What about it? Well, there's no simple way to catch animals quickly, right? If you really want to eat them, you have to set a trap. But I'm an idiot, so I laid one right next to my house and accidentally caught Nechan in it, right? I set, like, conflating meat that I eat with women. Is what I'm seeing right now. That's crazy. I got in big trouble for setting that trap so close to home. I learnt that traps to catch your prey, so you shouldn't set them around your house. So, you've set this trap for me. I'm in the middle of your trap right now. But you don't want to get Togame in this. So, if I go to where Togame was staying, the person you don't want to trap in all of this, because of your solemn oath to help girls that are victims of abuse, like Togame, right? Must be the daughter of some feudal lord, assuming that much from the hair color change. Like, she wouldn't set a trap for Togame because it would go against everything that her new identity represents. So yeah, he just runs away. Sento Meguri does have a weakness if you wouldn't have set it up around Togame's house. Or where she's staying, I should say. Yep, no traps around here. Besides me, you had to look out for Togame as well. This is almost where Meisai admits defeat. Like, did you even think about how you're going to transport the swords? If you... Okay, I'll get my shrine maidens to transport the swords if you win, right? I'd like to request that you obtain a guarantee from the shogunate of the future of those girls in the Sanzu Shrine. I know who my successor is, she just hasn't recovered yet. Please get the shogunate to send someone who's kind and knows their way around people's hearts to take care of them. Even amidst the demons of the shogunate, there must be one that fits that profile. One nice guy. Send a nice guy up here. But yeah, who is my successor? I don't know what that's about. So yeah, are you admitting defeat? No, I have to protect these girls, so I'm going to die here if you have to kill me, right? I'm just being contradictory here, but I figure it's fine if I lose this fight. I shouldn't have used the poison of those swords to protect the girls. Like, giving these swords to abuse victims, right? So, a method to protect themselves, but also a method to be aggressor. And we see this come to pass through multiple stages in the episode, right? Togame getting attacked. They also become addicted to the sword, though, right? The poison of it. So you become addicted to this cure, and are unable to part with it, unable to move on. That's why I've been waiting for people like you two to come and smash my pointless hopes. Of course, I'm not admitting defeat, even I had one sword placed here. Interesting. And yeah, that's the actual original, buried there. Togame told me that swords house souls. Swords choose their masters, but they don't choose who to slay. Sento Tsurugi chose you like I chose Togame, right? Again, further linking men and swords. I chose Togame. I have fallen for you. The same way this sword had fallen for you as well, right? We don't choose who we kill. I don't choose who I kill. I'm just a sword, right? Continuing to run with that line, even though you're completely in the moral low ground of this situation, right? Completely and totally. Even in this moment, right? Not claiming Izumo Daisen Sanzu's, I'm not that, right? I am Saruga Meisai, right? Here I come, I will show you the 1,000 secrets of the Santoru. And then he says his catchphrase about getting torn to pieces, and then basically puts his fucking fist through her heart. I do like this animation too with the sword, that's pretty neat. Anyway, he did fucking murder her. Togame finally catches up, rain starts to fall. He looks at his bloody hand for one moment, looks down at the corpse, maybe thinking about it here for just a moment. Maybe, just a moment. This lady that's so noble, that's taken on this noble cause. I put my fucking hand through her heart, blood is seeping from my fingers, and then, oh yeah, Togame won. Like, just for a moment he thinks about it, I think. As you could see, it was a clean victory. Shichiki, you didn't have to... And then pause, right? But accepts the reality. Good job. Good job. Because at the end of the day, I put out this decree. I put out this thing that we need to kill these guys for my purposes, right? And he just did his job as a sword. I can't feel bad about it, even though there was some kind of connection here between these two. I can't feel that bad about it. I just can't. Because at the end of the day, I told him to do it. Yeah, then we fade on that shot of her dead hand holding that last sword. It's all very cordial, because these two, it's like, oh yeah, I thought it would come to this, and then yeah, I will definitely obtain a guarantee of the safety of this shrine and the 1,000 maidens from the shogunate. What's going to happen now? There's no swords, they're unarmed. However, it just means things return to how they were before the sword got involved. Before specifically, our Saruga Meisai got involved and gave out the swords and did that whole thing, right? Meisai should have just done that from the start and threw out all the swords and just did that. But no, she was born of one of the deviant blades. She was poisoned by it, corrupted by it, and wanted it to use it in this way. In that way, she spread out the poison to everybody else. I doubt she'd be able to forcibly let go of it unless it was forcibly taken, right? I can't let go of this thing, my duty, based on this sword. I have to have it taken from me. How about you? If I had lost, would you give over the swords? I never once thought that you could lose, but you're blushing the whole time because it's cute. Because you had faith in him, and you don't want to say that because it's embarrassing. And then we started the episode on the steps, we end the episode on the steps. You missed the steps rather than the shrine. Yeah, because I'm a little bit cold and weird. But of course he misses them in so much that he got to embrace Togame. Again, and then we Cheerio, and then we fall down the fucking thing, and it's a whole bit. We end on a, again, surprisingly happy solution to everything, right? Like, almost happy-go-lucky. Almost. And again, Sabi Hakuhei is waiting as they roll down the hill, ready for their next adventure, knowing that they've, murdered a pretty honorable character here. And yeah, we're gonna... Again, all the themes I talked about this episode are going to come into focus more as we see Sabi Hakuhei, this character that is being set up as broadly very, very heroic. And then we have another final ED song that I'm just going to have a quick read of. Innocence is a greeting trapped in a little girl's tamari ball. Sure, I don't know what that means at all. Even given gold, now it is shining. The innocence? The innocence is shining? Sure. First you kill a person, you can't stop the fight. My crazy heart like a storm, still far, far away. Infinity is an eternally unreachable place at the moment when the night breeze where Asuras and Suras live blows? What the fuck are you talking about? In the shadow of blood where flowers are offered, 1,000 gravestones lie. Yeah, that fucking straight over my head. I don't know what those lyrics mean at all. Anyway, whatever. Seems like next week we're getting an absolute action fucking showpiece with fucking sharks being cut in half, which seems cool. But yeah, that's it for this week. I talked for way too long. Yeah, I mean, episode really, really good. I think it's one of my favorite things I've watched on the channel, this episode. I really, really like it. Like, a lot. The themes of it building and how it's building into the rest of the show. I feel like this is the formative episode. This is where I'm really starting to get what we're getting at here. And how we're going to play off of that in the rest of the content to come. Yeah, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what conclusion we come to by the end of this. Is this okay? Is this something we have to change? I don't know. What are we going to come to? I don't know. But for sure it's interesting. For sure. So yeah, next week, Sabi Hakuhei, be there, be square. I know Shichika and Togame will be anyway. Are we going to talk about what we did here? I don't know. Is it going to be judged in any way by the end? I don't know. We're going to have to see. Either way, chill stuff. So if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord. Join Discord. Love Discord. And yeah, we'll be back next week for more Katanagatari goodness. So thanks very much for watching. Catch you later. Cheerio. And yeah, see you next week.